Hello and welcome to TrueGritEnglish. I am very happy that you chose to spend some time with me today. This is a place for us to grow together. On this channel, we share new ideas every single day. We talk about life. We talk about how to be stronger. We talk about how to be better. And we do it all in simple English to help you learn while you listen. If you like this way of learning, please subscribe to the channel. Join our community. It is truly good to have you here with us. Today, we are going to talk about a very important part of being human. We are going to talk about our feelings. We all have them. We feel happy. We feel sad. We feel angry or worried. These feelings are a big part of life. But sometimes, these feelings can be very strong. They can take over our minds. They can change how we act and what we say. Today, we are going to learn how to stay in control. Our title for today is, Don't Let Your Emotions Drive the Car. I want you to use your imagination for a moment. Close your eyes if you can. Imagine that your life is a car. It is a nice car, and it belongs to you. This car is moving on a long, open road. This road is your life journey. Now, in every car, there is a driver's seat. This is the most important place in the car. The person sitting in the driver's seat decides everything. They decide to go left or right. They decide to go fast or slow. They decide when to stop. Now, I have a question for you. Who is sitting in the driver's seat of your life right now? Is it you? Or is it an emotion? Most of the time, we think we are the ones driving. We think we are making all the choices. But let's look closer. Think about a time when someone was mean to you. Maybe they said something unkind. Suddenly, you felt a hot feeling in your chest. Your face felt warm. That feeling was anger. In that moment, what happened? Usually, anger jumps into the driver's seat. Anger grabs the steering wheel with both hands. And what does anger do? Anger wants to drive fast. Anger wants to honk the horn. Anger wants to yell at the other cars on the road. When anger is driving, you are not in control anymore. You are just a passenger in the back seat. You are watching your own car go in a dangerous direction. This happens to all of us. It is not just anger. Sometimes, the driver is fear. Fear is a very nervous driver. When fear is driving, the car stays in the garage. Fear is too afraid to go out onto the road. Fear sees a small hill and thinks it is a giant mountain. If fear drives your car, you will never go anywhere new. You will stay in the same place because you are afraid of what might happen. Other times, the driver is sadness. Sadness is a very slow driver. When sadness takes the wheel, the car might just stop in the middle of the road. You might lose your energy. You might forget where you are going. You just sit there while the world moves past you. Do you see the problem? Emotions are not good drivers. They change too fast. 1 minute you are happy, and the next minute you are frustrated. If your driver changes every 5 minutes, your car will go in circles. You will feel tired. You will feel lost. You will feel like you have no power over your own life. Let's take a small break here. Just a few seconds to breathe. Think about your day yesterday. Think about this morning from the moment you woke up. Was there a moment when an emotion took the wheel? Maybe you felt stressed about work. Maybe you felt worried about a conversation. When that feeling came, did you stay in the driver's seat? Or did you let the feeling take over? It is okay to be honest. We all let our emotions drive sometimes. It is part of being a person. But the goal of our talk today is to learn how to stay in that seat. We want to be the boss of our car. A good driver is calm. A good driver looks far ahead at the road. They see the red lights and the green lights. They know that the weather might change. It might rain. It might be sunny. But a good driver does not let the weather decide the destination. If it rains, the driver does not turn the car around and go home. They just turn on the wipers and keep going. Your emotions are like the weather. They are things that happen around you and inside you. But they are not the driver. Happiness is like a beautiful sunny day. It feels great to drive when it is sunny. But you don't drive just because it is sunny. You drive because you have a place to go. Stress is like a heavy fog. It makes it hard to see. But when it is foggy, you don't let the fog drive the car. You just slow down. You look more carefully. You stay in control until the fog clears away. In this session, we are going to learn about being rational. That is a big word. but it has a simple meaning. Being rational means using your thinking brain. It means making a choice based on what is good for you, not just how you feel in one moment. If you are hungry, your emotion might say, eat 10 cookies. But your thinking brain says, no, eat a healthy meal. The thinking brain is the driver. The emotion is just a loud passenger in the back seat. It is important to remember one thing. We are not trying to get rid of our emotions. We are not trying to be like robots. Robots have no feelings, and that is not a good way to live. Feelings make life colorful. Joy makes life sweet. Even sadness can show us what we care about. We want the emotions to be in the car with us. We want to hear them, but we do not want them to touch the steering wheel. Imagine you are driving and a friend is in the passenger seat. Your friend might say, hey, look at that beautiful tree. Or your friend might say, I am worried about that dark cloud over there. You listen to your friend. You hear what they say, but you keep your eyes on the road. You keep your hands on the wheel. You are the one who decides to turn or stay straight. This is how we must live with our emotions. We can say to ourselves, I can feel that I am angry right now. I hear you, anger, but I am still the driver. I am going to choose to be kind anyway. Or we can say, I feel very tired and sad today. I hear you, sadness, but I am still the driver. I am going to take one small step forward anyway. When you start to think this way, everything changes. You stop reacting and you start responding. Reacting is what happens when the emotion drives. Responding is what happens when you drive. As we go through this 30-minute journey together, keep this image in your mind. You are the driver. You are steady. You are calm. You are capable. The road ahead of you is long, and there are many wonderful places to visit. Don't let a temporary feeling take you off the road. In the next part, we will talk about how to look at our emotions like guests in a house. This will help us understand that feelings do not stay forever. They come and they go. But for now, just sit in your driver's seat. Feel the wheel in your hands. Take a deep breath. You are in control, and you are doing a great job. Let's keep moving forward. Now that we have our hands on the steering wheel, let's talk about something else. Let's talk about where these feelings come from and how long they stay. I want to give you another picture to think about. Imagine your mind is a big, beautiful house. This is your home. It is where you live every single day. Now, imagine that this house is a guest house. Every day and every hour, new visitors arrive at your front door. Some of these visitors are very welcome. You look out the window and you see Joy walking up the path. Joy has a big smile and is carrying a basket of bright flowers. You open the door wide. You say, please come in. I am so happy to see you. You sit together in the kitchen and you have a warm cup of tea. It feels wonderful. Your whole house feels bright and light while Joy is there. But then, other visitors show up. You hear a slow, heavy knock at the door. You open it and you see Sadness. Sadness is wearing a heavy gray coat. Sadness does not look at you. Sadness looks at the floor and moves very slowly. Or maybe a different guest arrives. You hear a very loud, sharp knock. You open the door and there is Stress. Stress is carrying 10 heavy suitcases. Stress is talking very fast on a cell phone and looking at a watch. Stress wants to come in and start working immediately. These are not the guests we usually want to see. When we see them on our porch, we might want to lock the door. We might want to turn off the lights and pretend we are not home. We think, if I don't let them in, they will go away. But here is the truth about our emotions. They are all just guests. And the most important thing to remember about a guest is this. A guest is temporary. A guest is not moving in. A guest does not own the house. A guest is just visiting for a little while. This is a very simple idea, but if you really understand it, it can change your life. Many times, we feel a strong emotion and we think it will last forever. When we are very sad, we feel like we will be sad for the rest of the year. When we are very angry, we think that heat in our chest will never leave our bodies. But that is not how it works. Feelings are like the tide of the ocean. They come in and they go out. They are like clouds moving across a wide blue sky. No matter how dark a cloud is, it must move. It cannot stay in one spot forever. The wind of time always blows it away. Think about why we get so tired when we have strong emotions. It is usually because we spend all our energy fighting the guests. Imagine stress is knocking at your door. You hold the door shut with all your strength. You push against the wood. You shout, "Go away. I don't have time for you." You are pushing and pushing. This takes so much energy. You become exhausted. And guess what? Stress is still there, knocking on the door. What happens if you just stop? What happens if you just open the door and say, "Oh, hello, stress. I see you are here again. You can come in and sit in the chair for a while." This sounds strange, doesn't it? Why would we let a bad feeling in? We do it because when we stop fighting, the feeling loses its power. A guest only stays as long as they need to. If you let them in and let them sit down, they eventually get bored. They eventually finish their visit and they leave through the back door. The problem starts when we give the guests the keys to our house. Have you ever done that? Have you ever felt so worried that you let worry take the keys? Suddenly, worry is opening all your drawers. Worry is changing the pictures on your walls. Worry is deciding what you will have for dinner and who you will talk to. When you give a guest the keys, they stop being a guest. They start to think they own the place. We must learn to be polite but firm. We can say to our feelings, "You are welcome to sit here, but you are not allowed to change anything. You are just a visitor." Think about a time you felt very anxious. Maybe you had to give a speech or go to a new place. Anxiety feels like a guest who is screaming or jumping up and down. It is very loud. It makes it hard to hear anything else. Most people try to scream back at anxiety. They say, "Be quiet. Stop it." But that just makes the house louder. Try this instead. Sit quietly. Look at the anxiety. Say to yourself in your mind, "This is a loud guest. He is very noisy today. But he is just a guest. He will get tired soon." If you do this, something amazing happens. You stay the owner of the house. You stay calm while the guest is being loud. You don't have to join the noise. You can just watch it happen. Let me ask you a question. Have you ever noticed that your feelings change when you eat a good meal or when you get a good night of sleep? Sometimes we think we are having a big life crisis. We think our whole world is falling apart. But really, we are just hungry or we are just tired. This shows us how temporary feelings are. They can change just because we drank a glass of water or took a short nap. That is why we should never make big decisions when a guest is being very loud. If anger is screaming in your living room, that is not the time to write an angry email to your boss. If sadness is sitting on your sofa, that is not the time to quit your job or give up on your dreams. Wait for the guest to leave. Wait for the house to be quiet again. Then, when it is just you and your quiet mind, you can decide what to do. There is a very helpful trick you can use to help with this. I call it naming the guest. When you feel a strong emotion, try to change your language. Most people say, "I am angry." But when you say, "I am angry," you are saying that you and the anger are the same thing. You are saying the guest is the owner. Instead, try saying, "I feel anger." Or even better, say, "I see that anger is here." Do you hear the difference? "I am angry" feels like a heavy weight that you have to carry. "I see that anger is here" feels like you are looking at something from a distance. You are the observer. You are the owner of the house looking at a visitor. This simple change in your words creates a little bit of space. And in that space, you find your freedom. You find your power to choose. Let's take a moment to be silent now. For the next 15 seconds, I want you to just listen to your own mind. Think about how your body feels right now. Is there a guest in your house today? Is it a quiet guest like peace? Or is it a loud one like frustration? Just look at it. Don't try to change it. Don't try to push it out the door. Just say hello to it. It feels a bit better when we don't fight, doesn't it? We are learning that we can live with our feelings without letting them control us. We are learning that the house is always there. It is strong and it is steady, no matter who comes to visit. You are the house. You are the space where everything happens. The guests are just passing through. But what do we do when a guest is really, really loud? What if they won't stop knocking? What if they are trying to grab the steering wheel of that car we talked about earlier? In those moments, we need a special tool. We need a way to stop everything for a second. We need a way to find our thinking brain again. In the next part of our journey, we are going to talk about the power of the pause. We will learn a simple way to stop an emotion before it turns into an action. It is like having a strong set of brakes on your car. It keeps you safe, even when the road gets difficult and the weather gets bad. Let's talk about how to use those brakes and keep our car on the right path. So far, we have talked about being the driver of your life. We have also talked about how your feelings are like guests visiting your house. These ideas are very helpful for understanding our minds. But what happens when things move very fast? What happens when life gets loud and stressful in a single second? This is where we need a special skill. We need the power of the rational pause. Think about how you react to things. Usually, something happens, and then you do something. For example, your phone breaks, and you feel upset. You immediately shout or throw your hands in the air. Or someone says something rude, and you say something mean back to them right away. It feels like one thing leads to another with no time in between. It feels automatic. It is like a reflex, like when a doctor taps your knee and your leg kicks out. You don't choose to kick. It just happens. But here is the secret. There is a small space between what happens to you and what you do. It is a very, very small space. It might only be 1 second long. But in that 1 second, you have the power to change everything. We call this the pause. When we are children, we don't have this pause. If a child is hungry, they cry. If a child is angry, they kick. They don't have the part of the brain that can wait. But as we grow up, we develop a beautiful tool. We develop our rational mind. Rational is just a way of saying we can think clearly. We can look at a situation and use logic. We can ask, is this action going to help me? Or is it going to make things worse? To use your rational mind, you must learn to stop. You must learn to hit the brakes on your car for just a moment. Imagine you are driving and you see a yellow light. You have a choice. You can speed up and try to go through, or you can slow down and wait. The pause is like that yellow light. It is a moment to look around and decide what is safe. Let's try a practical exercise together. Imagine you are in a situation that makes you feel very emotional. Maybe you are at work and your boss tells you that you made a big mistake. You feel your heart beat faster. You feel embarrassed. You want to argue. You want to say it wasn't your fault. Now, instead of speaking, I want you to use the 10-second rule. This is very simple. Before you say a word, count to 10 in your head. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. While you are counting, I want you to say some very simple English sentences to yourself. Say them slowly. Say, I am breathing. I am calm. I am thinking. What happens during those 10 seconds? Something very important. The emotional part of your brain is very fast, but it gets tired quickly. The thinking part of your brain is a little bit slower. It needs a few seconds to wake up and start working. When you count to 10, you are giving your thinking brain time to get into the driver's seat. You are taking the power away from the emotion and giving it back to your logical mind. Let's look at another example. Let's think about a man named David. David has a very important job interview. He has been waiting for this for a long time. He walks into the office and he sees the interviewers. They look very serious. They don't smile. Suddenly, David feels a guest arrive in his house. That guest is fear. David's hands start to shake. He feels like he can't remember any of his English words. He feels like he wants to run out of the door and go home. If David let his emotions drive the car, he would fail. He would speak too fast, or he would say nothing at all. But David knows about the pause. He sits down in the chair. He feels his shaking hands. He doesn't try to hide them. He just notices them. Then, David does something very smart. He sees a glass of water on the table. He picks up the glass. He takes a slow sip of water. That sip of water is his pause. It only takes 3 seconds. But in those 3 seconds, David is telling his brain, I am in control. I am taking a drink because I choose to. He is not running away. He is staying in the driver's seat. After he puts the glass down, his heart is still beating fast, but his mind is clear. He can hear the questions. He can find his words. He uses his rational mind to show them why he is the best person for the job. I want to ask you a question. When was the last time you felt a strong emotion and you reacted too quickly? Maybe you sent a text message you regret. Maybe you bought something very expensive because you were bored or sad. How would that situation be different if you had taken a 10-second pause? It is helpful to think of the pause as a gift you give to yourself. It is the gift of time. When you pause, you are saying, I am too important to let this feeling make my choices. I am the one who decides my life. Using the pause is not always easy. It takes practice. In the beginning, you might forget. You might react and then think, oh, I forgot to pause. That is okay. Don't be hard on yourself. Just try again next time. Every time you successfully pause, you are making your thinking brain stronger. You are training yourself to be a better driver. Think of it like building a muscle in the gym. The first time you lift a weight, it is very heavy. But if you do it every day, it becomes light. Controlling your emotions is exactly the same. At first, it feels impossible to stop the anger or the fear. But after a few weeks of practicing the pause, you will start to feel a new kind of power. You will feel a deep sense of peace. You will realize that even if the world is crazy around you, you can be calm inside. Let's take a small reflective pause right now. I will be quiet for 10 seconds. In this time, I want you to think about one thing that usually makes you feel stressed or angry. Imagine that thing happening. Now, imagine yourself taking a deep breath and counting to 10. Feel the power of that silence. When we use the pause, we stop being victims of our feelings. We stop being people who just react to the world. We become people who create our own lives. We become rational. We become steady. Now, once we have paused and our mind is clear, we have another question to answer. If the emotion is not driving the car, how do we know where to go? If we are not following our anger or our fear, what should we follow? This is where we need a map. We need something that does not change, even when our feelings do. In the next part, we are going to talk about your values. We will talk about how to drive your car toward the things that truly matter to you, no matter what the weather is like outside. We will learn how to make choices that make us proud of ourselves at the end of the day. Let's keep going on this road together. We are doing great work. Now that we know how to pause and keep our hands on the wheel, we need to know where we are going. If you are the driver of the car and you are not letting your emotions tell you where to turn, how do you decide the right way? This is where we need a map. In our lives, our values are the map. What is a value? That sounds like a big word, but it is actually very simple. A value is something that you believe is important. It is a rule that you choose for yourself. It is the kind of person you want to be. For example, honesty is a value. Kindness is a value. Being a hard worker is a value. Being a good parent or a good friend is a value. Think about the difference between a feeling and a value. A feeling is like the weather. Sometimes it is sunny and warm. Sometimes it is cold and rainy. You cannot control the weather. It just happens. But a map is different. A map does not change when it rains. If the map says that the city is to the north, it stays to the north whether it is sunny or whether there is a storm. Many people live their lives looking only out the window at the weather. If they feel happy, they are kind to others. If they feel angry, they are mean. If they feel excited, they work hard. If they feel bored, they stop working. This is a very difficult way to live. It is like driving a car and turning the wheel every time the wind blows. You will never get to your destination that way. You will just be pushed around by the world. Successful and happy people do something different. They don't look only at the weather. They look at their map. They say to themselves, I feel very tired today. That is the weather. But my map says that I value being a good student. So, I will open my book and study for 30 minutes. They don't wait until they feel like it. They do it because it is on their map. Let's look at an example from daily life. Imagine you want to be a healthy person. Being healthy is one of your values. It is part of your map. One morning, you wake up. You look at your running shoes. Suddenly, a guest arrives in your house. That guest is laziness. Laziness says, it is too cold outside. The bed is so warm. Let's stay here and watch videos on our phone. In that moment, you have a choice. You can let laziness drive the car. If you do that, you stay in bed. You feel okay for a few minutes, but later in the day, you feel bad. You feel like you failed yourself. Why? Because you followed the weather instead of the map. But what if you use the pause? You feel the laziness. You hear what it says. You say, "Hello, laziness, I see you are here." Then, you look at your map. Your map says, "Health is important to me." You realize that the map is more important than the weather. So, you get out of bed. You put on your shoes. You go for a walk. You might still feel tired while you are walking. That is okay. The weather hasn't changed yet, but you are driving in the right direction. And usually, after 5 or 10 minutes, the weather starts to change. You start to feel proud. You start to feel strong. Let's take a moment to think. I want to ask you a question. What is one value that is very important to you? Don't think about what other people want. Think about what you want. Do you value being honest, even when it is hard? Do you value being a person who helps others? Do you value learning and growing every day? Take 10 seconds to just think about that one value. That value is your North Star. It is the light that shows you the way when things are dark. When you are in a difficult situation and you don't know what to do, don't ask, "How do I feel?" Instead, ask, "What is my value?" If you are in an argument with someone you love, your emotion might be anger. Your emotion might tell you to say something very mean to hurt them. But if you look at your map might say, "I value being a kind and loving partner." If you follow the map, you will choose to be quiet. You will choose to listen. You will choose to speak with respect. You are still angry, but you are driving the car toward love, not toward a fight. This is the secret to a life with no regrets. Regret usually happens when we let our emotions drive. We look back and think, "Why did I say that? Why did I do that?" The answer is usually that an emotion was sitting in the driver's seat. But when you follow your map, you are proud of yourself. Even if things are hard, you can put your head on your pillow at night and say, "I stayed on the road today. I followed my map." Sometimes, the road is very long. Sometimes, you have to drive through the rain for a long time. This is called discipline. Discipline is just another way of saying that you follow your map even when the weather is bad. It means you keep moving toward your goals even when you don't feel motivated. Remember, you are not a slave to your feelings. You have a brain that can think. You have a heart that knows what is right. Your emotions are just information. They tell you how you are feeling, but they don't tell you what to do. The map tells you what to do. If you feel fear, the fear is telling you, "This might be dangerous." Thank the fear for the information. Then look at the map. If the map says the goal is important, then you drive through the fear. You take the fear with you in the passenger seat, but you keep your foot on the gas. As we move toward the final part of our session, I want you to feel the strength that comes from this. You are not a leaf blowing in the wind. You are a person with a map. You have a destination. You know who you want to be. But how do we make sure we don't forget this when life gets busy? How do we stay in control every single day, from the moment we wake up until we go to sleep? It takes practice. It takes building small habits that keep us in the driver's seat. In the next part, we are going to talk about mastering the road ahead. We will look at simple things you can do every day to stay strong and rational. We will also talk about what to do when you make a mistake, because everyone makes mistakes sometimes. Let's finish this journey together and learn how to stay in control for the long term. You are doing a wonderful job of listening and learning. Let's move to the final stage. We have traveled a long way together in this session. We have talked about the car, the house, the pause, and the map. These are big ideas. But ideas are only useful if we use them in our real, everyday lives. So, in this final part, let's talk about how to master the road ahead. How do we make this a habit? How do we stay in the driver's seat tomorrow and the day after that? The best way to stay in control is to start before you even leave your house. I like to call this the morning check-in. Most of us wake up and immediately start thinking about our problems. We think about our emails, our money, or our chores. When we do this, We are letting the guests into our house before we have even had a cup of coffee. Instead, try this. When you wake up tomorrow, sit on the side of your bed for 1 minute. Just 1 minute. Don't look at your phone. Don't turn on the television. Just sit and breathe. Ask yourself a very simple question. How do I feel right now? Listen for the answer. You might feel a little bit of stress about a meeting. You might feel a little bit of sadness because you missed a friend. Or you might feel peaceful. Whatever the feeling is, just name it. Say to yourself, okay, I see that stress is in the car today. I see that tiredness is sitting in the back seat. By doing this, you are identifying your passengers before you start the engine. You are telling your brain, I know who is in the car, but I am the one who is going to drive. When you know your passengers are there, they cannot surprise you. If stress tries to shout later in the day, you can say, I already knew you were here. I am still driving. This morning check-in is like checking the oil in the tires of your car. It makes sure you are ready for the trip. It only takes 60 seconds, but it gives you power for the whole day. Now, I want to talk about something very important. I want to talk about what happens when things go wrong. Because the truth is, you will not always be a perfect driver. There will be days when you are very tired. There will be days when someone is so mean or something is so difficult that you lose your focus. In those moments, anger might jump into the driver's seat and shout. You might say something you regret. You might let fear drive the car home and hide under the blankets. This happens to everyone. It happens to me. It happens to the strongest people in the world. When this happens, the worst thing you can do is hate yourself. If you start saying, I am a bad person, or I am a failure, you are just letting more bad guests into your house. Now you have anger in the driver's seat, and you have guilt and shame sitting in the back. That is a very crowded and noisy car. Instead, you must learn to forgive yourself. If you realize that an emotion is driving your car, just pull over. Imagine yourself pulling the car to the side of the road. Take a deep breath. Say to that emotion, okay, you had the wheel for a moment, but I am back now. Thank you for trying to protect me, but I will take it from here. Then, get back in the seat and start driving again. You don't have to go back to the beginning of the road. You just start from where you are. You are a human being, not a robot. A robot never makes a mistake, but a robot also never learns and never loves. Your mistakes are just parts of the journey where you learn how to be a better driver. Let's take a small reflective pause here. Think of one time recently when you lost control of your emotions. Now, imagine yourself forgive yourself for that moment. Let the guilt go. It is in the past. You are in the present now. As we come to the end of our 30 minutes together, let's look back at our journey. We have learned that our emotions are important, but they should not be the boss. We have learned that they are temporary visitors in our house. We have learned that we can use the power of the pause to find our thinking brain. And we have learned that our values are the map that shows us where to go. Living this way is not about being cold or having no feelings. It is about having a deep kind of strength. It is about being the master of your own life. When you drive your own car, you get to see the places you want to see. You get to reach your goals. You get to be the kind of person who makes the world a better place. Imagine a world where everyone took a 10-second pause before they spoke. Imagine a world where people followed their values of kindness and honesty instead of their anger. It would be a very different world, wouldn't it? You can start that world today, inside your own mind. I want to thank you for listening to me today. I know that learning a language and thinking about life at the same time is not easy. You should be very proud of yourself. You are growing your mind and your heart at the same time. This is what we do here at TrueGritEnglish. We build strength, one word and one thought at a time. If you found this helpful, please remember to subscribe. We have many more journeys to take together. Each day is a new chance to get in the driver's seat. Each day is a new chance to look at the map and choose the right road. As you go back to your day, keep your hands steady on the wheel. Look out the window and enjoy the weather, whether it is sunny or cloudy. Listen to your guests, but don't let them tell you where to go. Trust your map. Trust your pause. And most importantly, trust yourself. The road ahead of you is beautiful. There will be hills, and there will be valleys. There will be easy parts, and there will be hard parts. But as long as you are the one driving, it will be a journey worth taking. Take one more deep breath with me. In through your nose, and out through your mouth. Feel the seat beneath you. Feel the air around you. You are here. You are present. You are ready. Thank you for being part of True Grit English. We will see you next time. Until then, stay calm, stay rational, and stay on your path. You are the driver.